Hi guys, my name's Chris. I'm a university student from Ireland and I studied at LTL Beihai last summer for 4 weeks. So a lot of people who come to study in China, they choose to go to somewhere like Beijing and Shanghai, and I think the main reason for that is familiarity. We've heard of those cities, we know about them at least at a surface level, and I think that's what puts people off going somewhere like Beihai. So I'm going to go into, I guess, my arriving in Beihai and how the whole process was, and hopefully clear up a couple of things about the whole process. So any apprehensions that I had about going somewhere like Beihai were completely eradicated by the staff at LTL. Anna is the head teacher in Beihai, and unlike most people in Beihai, she speaks English very well. She didn't for the duration of my course because it was important for my linguistic immersion. But prior to my arrival, it was very useful that she could speak English because it meant it put my, I guess, apprehensions at ease, because she got in touch with me by phone. She asked me when my train was going to arrive, where the station was. She agreed she was going to meet me, and it gave me that peace of mind knowing that, okay, I'm coming to this strange city I've never heard of, but there's somebody who's going to be greeting me there, and I'm not going to worry about anything going wrong. So I'll never forget the night, summer's night in southern China. I arrived in Beihai train station and Anna was there to greet me. And from that point on, it was complete and utter linguistic immersion, which is great because that's exactly why anyone would choose to go somewhere like that. So Anna greeted me. All of our interactions from that point on were in Chinese, unless it was me looking for a translation. So we left the train station and went straight to the host family, again by taxi, with Anna guiding me all the way, so there was no issues there. And we arrived, my host family greeted me, we had a lovely traditional meal, grandmother, grandfather, the children, everybody was there, and it was really nice. I guess it was a really nice start to the trip because immediately any kind of nervousness I had was put at ease. I really felt that I was in safe hands. And I suppose going into the later stages of my arrival the next morning, Anna got up early, came to my homestay and brought me to the school. She showed me the way that I would be able to commute there, so I would be self-sufficient from that point on. So she told me what bus to get, or how I could cycle, whatever the case was. And from that point on, I knew exactly where I stood. So arrival was smooth in a nutshell. So what was Beihai like as a place? I certainly had no, prejudices going into the trip because I'd never heard of it. I had nothing to expect. I went in with a complete open mind. I did take some video and photo footage while I was there, so I'll layer that over this video, so while you're hearing my voice you won't just be staring at me in my living room in Ireland. It might paint a better picture for you. So I arrived in Beihai and, like I said, didn't have a whole lot of expectations, but I expected it to be small. And I can tell you now, having been there, for European standards at least, it's not that small. For Chinese standards, it's a small city, it's about 1 million people, but really it's busy, it's bustling. You'll arrive and the first thing I certainly noticed was, electric scooters everywhere, people everywhere chatting, cars zipping around. So it's a busy, bustling city by European standards for sure. Another thing, I guess, that springs to mind with Beihai, certainly if you've looked at any of LTL's marketing material, you'll have seen a lot of pictures of beaches. And I can tell you, having been there, that that's certainly not false advertising. Beihai has some of the most amazing long sandy white beaches that you're going to see, and you're there to study and you're immersed in a new language and you're studying hard. It certainly doesn't hurt that there are beautiful beaches and you can lie down in a lounger, chill out and read through your Chinese characters, so that certainly helps. Other characteristics about the city that I'd take into account: the people are extremely friendly. There are very, very few foreigners in Beihai. I came across one by chance in McDonald's, of all places, while I was there, one in the whole trip, but he was as shocked to see me as I was to see him. There's very few people there, and you will get the locals being very curious in you being there as a foreigner, and a lot of people will come up and ask you questions and things like that. That's a good thing for sure in terms of practicing your Chinese, because people are quite willing to come up and talk to you, and it's very rare to meet somebody in Beihai that speaks English, at least to a conversational fluency level. So definitely, it's the perfect place to immerse yourself. Beihai is off the beaten track in terms of it being quite far away from the bigger places like Beijing, Shanghai, Chengdu, anywhere like that. But it's extremely modern. like anywhere else I've been in China. You know, you're talking big new shopping mall complexes. Everything is operated by WeChat. You know, it's very advanced in terms of technological sense. So it's, you know, it's extremely nice, modern city, very livable, lots of amenities. And my favorite thing about Beihai, I would say, is the nightlife. Now, it's a beachside city, so there's street food, there's night market stalls, people are out in the streets till all hours, kind of sitting around, eating with friends, drinking, things like that. It's a really fun place to be at night. So, you know, certainly Anna, my teacher, was very kind in the sense that she would meet me in the evenings after class and bring me out to really immerse myself in that nightlife culture. So it was really great to experience that. Yeah, so otherwise, yeah, extremely scenic, extreme nice people, beaches, good weather. In terms of the place of Beihai, really couldn't recommend it more. And even just purely for a holiday, it's a fantastic place to go. So if I was to describe my Chinese progression I made while in Beihai in one word, I would say rapid. Really, I made a lot of progress in a short amount of time. So I went into LTL Beihai with very basic Mandarin. I could communicate at a basic level, you know, name different kinds of food, point out directions, things like that, but nothing really substantial in terms of forming sentences. And I came in, I wanted to improve rapidly, but I wasn't that ambitious about my Chinese. I just wanted to improve as much as I could and be able to make conversations with people. And I said that to Anna in my first class. I said, look, I'm just looking to, you know, learn some conversational skills, reading and writing, you know, less so. And Anna put me, you know, back in my box, so to speak, quite early on and said, look, you have to learn the characters. You know, we don't use letters in China. If you want to become an expert at Chinese, you got to do this. And I suppose she really pushed me to want to achieve more with my learning, which I'm so thankful for, because from day one, she really pushed me. I'll be sitting the HSK4 exam this summer, and learning Chinese characters now is just something I've gotten into the habit of doing. It was probably something I put off before then, and she really just made me jump headfirst into it. The course structure, it's intense depending on what program you did. My classes were all one-on-one, so I'd go in the morning. It'd be 4 to 5 hours of one-on-one intense classes, you know, reading, speaking, writing, listening, everything else. And in the best possible way, there is no escape when you're there, in the sense that you finish class, you go home to your homestay, they're not speaking English, you're speaking Chinese. If you go out in the evenings to socialise, they're all speaking Chinese, they're not speaking English, obviously. You know, Anna could sometimes meet me for an excursion in the evening. We'd go off, I don't know, hiking, anything like that, go for something to eat, maybe a couple of drinks, again, all in Chinese. This course is for you if you really are serious about learning Chinese as quickly as possible in an intense fashion, and you're really quite serious about your studies. It's not a holiday, or, you know, I mean, you will have a whole lot of fun. Like I said in previous videos, you know, you are in a beachside city and it's got a great social life and everything else, but it really is for people who are serious about their Chinese learning and they want to immerse themselves in a true Chinese scenario.